Hey guys, welcome to the Eat, Sleep, Raid, Repeat guide to the Iron Reaver in Hellfire Citadel. This is Gorgeous, and I'm going to be talking to you about this encounter. Now, this is a two-phase fight. The first phase is the ground phase, where the boss is on the ground, accumulating energy over time. When the boss receives 100% energy, she's going to go up in the air and begin her second phase, the air phase. We're going to start with the ground phase first. Okay, so the first ability we're going to talk about is called Barrage. This is where Iron Reaver spits fire out of her hands, and players need to step to the left or right to not get hit by it. Barrage also leaves little Hellfires behind that players cannot stand in. If players are standing in fire or getting hit by Barrage, they will get a dot on them called Immolation. Immolation does stack. This mechanic is really easy to avoid. You can easily see which way the fire is going to be casted based off the direction of her foot. So let's slow it down and look at it more closely. You can see that her foot is pointed a certain way, and based off that direction of her left foot, that fire comes out directly out of her foot. So this fire left by Barrage will be moved by her next mechanic called Pounding. When Iron Reaver is pounding the ground, the raid's going to be taking AoE damage, but it's also going to push this fire away from her. Now players need to avoid being hit by this fire, because then they will get that immolation dot on them. The next mechanic is very easily avoidable. It's called Blitz. She's going to point to somewhere and do a giant falcon punch across the whole room. If she grabs you, she will drag you into the fire and slam you against the wall. Players just need to make sure they're stepping to the side without stepping in any of the Hellfires left by Barrage. Throughout this fight, she's going to cast this ability called Unstable Orb, where she chooses a player and spits fire at them, and it puts a dot on everyone within 8 yards of that player. So everyone needs to be at least 8 yards spread apart. This dot does last 15 seconds, and it does stack, so healers will need to prioritize people with more than one stack of Unstable Orb. Alright, the last ability we're going to talk about in ground phase is called Artillery. This is a tank mechanic where she's going to pick the tank that is tanking. He's going to grow in size, and she wants to shoot a rocket at them. They need to run away from everybody so that this rocket does not explode on everybody else. Now, tanks will need to pop a personal cooldown when she throws that rocket at them. The tanks will just need to taunt swamp on this and continually run away from the boss. When Iron Reaver becomes fully charged with 100% energy, she's going to fly up in the air and begin her air phase. While she's in the air, she's going to get this buff on her that reduces all damage done to her by 95%. So the DPS want to switch from killing her to now killing these volatile fire bombs that she throws down in random spots. She'll throw down 5 at a time, so the raid does need to be spread out to make sure that they kill all the bombs before they explode. You do have 25 seconds to kill these bombs, which I believe is plenty of time. Possibly on heroic mode, these bombs will have more HP because I felt I could single target them down myself. While Iron Reaver is flying around, she's going to throw down some fuel that players will need to step out of because she is then going to ignite it. So players want to make sure that they are not getting hit by this fire and getting this immolation debuff. Well, if you were jealous of the tanks in the ground phase, don't worry because she's going to choose 3 random people to cast Artillery on. This is the mechanic where she chooses a player and throws a big rocket at them. We threw markers up in the corners of the room and had our players run to those corners to make sure that they were not hitting anybody else with this artillery. It took a long time to come to me, so I was very easily able to get to the corner and make sure that I did not hit anybody with this giant rocket. So the last thing I want to point out to you is when she lands back on the ground, she does create this wind burst that pushes all this fire back. This is important to note because you could get hit by that fire, and it does create a spot for your raid to stand. Thank you so much for watching this guide, and I hope you have fun with the fight.